Hey, Sequoia friends. Welcome to our very first online library STEM combo class. Today, we will be reading Chris Van Dusen's If I Built a House. Now, I don't have my copy here with me, but I found it online for you to enjoy. After the story, listen to Miss McCollum and Miss Card's instructions on how to complete the STEM project. Enjoy!
Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. McCollum. I'm so excited to be able to share a STEM lab lesson with you. And I hope you enjoyed the story, If I Built a House. We've been in our homes a lot lately over the past several weeks, and I wanted to challenge you to brainstorm different rooms that you would add to your house if you could. Rooms like, an aquarium room or a racetrack room. What were some of the other rooms in the story that you found really cool? I really liked what the boy said in the story. He said, rooms on the inside that make it unique. The rooms are what make it special. And I'm sure in your bedroom you have some things in there that make it special for you. One of a kind is another way to think of the word unique. So I want you to brainstorm some unique rooms that you would like to add if you were building a house. What rooms would you want to include in your house? I thought the racetrack room and the art room and the aquarium room, or I think they called it the underwater room, were fascinating. And it got me thinking about what would I do? How would I design my own dream room? So here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you and your family to brainstorm some different rooms that you would like to add if you were building a house, okay? And then you're going to take a piece of paper and maybe some colored pencils or markers. You could even use a regular pencil. I love color though, so that's why I have the colored pencils. And I'd like for you to choose a room that you brainstormed with your family. Here is my dream room. I titled it Mrs. McCollum's Sun Room, and I have lots of things that I added in my room. You can see that my piece of paper is the whole room, okay? So the shape of my room is a rectangle, and I have added different shapes to represent furniture or other features in my dream room. So I chose a sunroom because I love the sunshine, and sometimes it's too cold to be outside if even when the sun is shining. So I know we're kind of getting more into spring and warmer weather, but if I'm thinking long term, I would like to have a room where I can enjoy the sunshine all the time. So I have these windows on on two different walls. I call them my wall of windows. I've got two couches here, and I've got some places where you could put your feet. They're called ottomans, but they also have storage inside of them. I could put board games and puzzles and, books, all kinds of things. I've also got a fireplace over here. Remember how I mentioned that this might be a room I want to enjoy in the wintertime, so we have a fireplace. I love the ball pit. I kind of took that idea from this story. I love how stories inspire me and help me come up with new ideas, and so I like the ball pit. And see the shape the ball pit is? Just a circle, okay? So I have used lots of regular shapes that, we've learned in math to create my sunroom. Now, my sunroom also has some really fun features that I wanted to mention. I have a popcorn machine. Let's see, I'll turn it this way. I have a popcorn machine. I have a snow cone machine. I have a cotton candy machine, and then I have this little corner over here that is my snack bar. And so I could maybe have pretzels and potato chips and all kinds of fun snacks maybe stored over here in this corner. And of course I have a huge rug in the center, and I have a big sun on my rug just in case it happens to be a cloudy day and the sun isn't shining. I can at least enjoy my giant rug in the center of the room. So those are some of the things that I would like in my dream room. I'm sure that you all have lots of ideas to add to your dream room, and that's what I would like for you to do with your family. One other thing that I'd like for you to do is, along with your title, okay, you want to title your drawing, because we've talked about that word blueprint before, and this could be a blueprint of your dream room. So keep that in mind. We have to have a title for our blueprint. Also, I'd like for you to try and label 1, 2, 3 different features that you have added in your room. Okay, so try labeling as many pieces and parts as you can to get your blueprint complete. I hope you have fun with this STEM lab, and would love to hear some feedback if possible. You know my email, aaron.mccollum@knoxschools.org, and send me some pictures. I miss you guys, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye.
So after listening to this story, if I were to build a house, I now want us to do some imagining and some planning and some designing today. So I want you to go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and I want you to think about, if you were to build a house, what are some of the rooms that you would put in your home? We have been spending a lot of time at home recently, so we felt like you guys could probably come up with some pretty creative ways and ideas of rooms that you could put in your house to maybe make your home a little bit more fun or entertaining. So I want you to make a list of like 4 to 6 rooms that you would put in your home, but I also want you to put beside those rooms some of the features and things that you would put in those rooms to make those rooms extra special. Okay, part 2 of today's lesson is we're going to be using Google Drawings to make a design for those rooms. So I want you to just pause the video for a minute, put together a list of your rooms and what you would put in those rooms. Also, if you have a computer or a laptop or a Chromebook, go ahead and get that ready for today's lesson. If you don't, you can use paper and pencil for the second part of today's lesson as well. Okay, so now that we've made a list of the ideas of rooms that we would like to put in our house, now we're going to do some design work. So I want you to choose one of the rooms that you put on your list that we're actually going to make a layout for it, design for that room. And we're going to do that in Google Drawings today. So Google Drawings is one of the many programs that Google offers to us. I know we're very familiar with Google Docs and Google Slides. Some of us have used Google Drawings a little bit, but this is also going to be new to some of us. So we're going to go through the basics while we get started today. So the first thing I want to do is to navigate to Google Drawings. I'm going to click up here in my address bar, and I'm going to type in drawings.google.com. So that's drawings.google.com, and then I'm just going to click enter. And it's going to take me into Google Drawings. So it's the little red piece of paper up here, and it says Untitled Drawings. So I'm going to change the title by clicking in this box, and I'm going to type the title of the room that I want to create a layout for, a design for today. So I'm going to do a bedroom, and you just choose one of the rooms off of your list, whether it's a library or a kitchen or a bathroom or a pool room or whatever room that you've decided that you want to make a design for. So now I'm going to look down here at the body of my drawing, and I see this big square checkerboard. So this is the size of your room. So I want you to be very mindful of that as we do our layout today. So think about all the different things and furniture that you want to put into your room, and be thoughtful of, okay, well, if this is the only size I have, how big do I want to make each of these items that I'm placing in my room as I do my design today? So, all right, so for my bedroom, one of the most important things that I want is I want a bed in my bedroom. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bed. So to do that, I'm going to go right here where I see this little circle and square, and when I put my cursor over it, it says shape. So if I click on it, it gives me 3 different boxes. I can choose just basic shapes, different arrows. I can do little call outs, equations. So I'm going to just go up here to the basic shapes, and I'm going to choose just a rectangle for my bed. And when I click on it, now I have this little blue plus sign, this little cursor. So this is where I'm going to click and drag to create the size of my bed. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag, and I can always adjust it later. So if I click on a corner, just like when I resize images, I can drag to make it bigger and smaller. I can make it wider. I can make it longer. If I click in the center of my shape, this is where I can move it around. So I'm going to think for a minute. Okay, let's say that this is the door to my room. I want to be thoughtful of, when I walk in the door, where do I want my bed to be? Where do I want the other pieces of furniture in my room? Okay, so I want my bed kind of right here in the middle, and I would like a really big bed. If I were going to build a house, my bedroom would have a really big bed right in the middle. So now what I want to do is, if I were to show my mom or my dad this layout, they would look at it and say, oh, that's a really nice blue rectangle. So they're not going to know what that is. So I want us to now label the furniture that we just placed into our room. So the way we're going to do that is right up here with our toolbar, I have this little square with a T, and that's going to give me my text box. So when I click on it, I can now click and drag and make a little text box, and I'm just going to write bed. Now, if you notice, once I added that text box, I now have this whole new toolbar up here that looks just like Google Docs. And I know how to use a lot of those tools. So if I click and highlight where I typed bed, now I can change my font. I can change the size of my font. I can change the color of my text if I want to. I can spend a lot of time being very creative and artistic with my font and with my shape. So you can spend a lot of time working on that. If you noticed, when I clicked away from my text box, that toolbar went away. So if I want to get that toolbar back, I'm going to have to click back onto my text box. Now I can also click on my shape, and now I have this nice blue box around my shape, and I have another little tool up here. Do you see this little fill color button? I can actually change the color of my shape as well. So if I want to change my shape color, I can do that. I can give it a custom color. So I can drag down here to find different colors, and then within there I can find different pretty shades, and once I see the shade I like, I click OK. I can also give it more of a gradient look, and so I can choose one of these, and again, I can custom that if I would like to. So there are a lot of tools that you can play around with as you are building your layout today. But I'm going to keep moving forward, and you can always go back and add and change and spend lots of time working on that. So I've got my bed, but that of course is not the only thing that I would want in my bedroom if I were going to build a house. So I'm going to think practical as well as creative and fun. Okay, so I have my bed, but I know that I of course want a little nightstand beside my bed, because I always want to have a place to charge my phone and to have a lamp and to maybe have a book that I'm reading. So I'm going to go back to my shape button right here. I'm going to go back to shapes, and I'm going to look for a shape that I like for my nightside, my bedside table. So maybe I want to make it look a little more three-dimensional, like that cylinder. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to click and drag. So now I've got a nice little cylinder. Again, I can change the color of it. And then of course, I want to label it. So I'm going to go back to my text box here. I'm going to click and drag my text box, and I'm going to label it nightstand. And it's okay if your shape is smaller than your text box. Like I can make a text box that comes outside of my shape a little bit, so I can get that word in there. So I've got my nightstand. Okay, and I can play with the fonts and the colors and all that good stuff too. All right, so far I've got my bed and I've got my nightstand, which are very important pieces to my room. But I would love, if I were going to build a house, I would love to have a big aquarium in my bedroom, like a saltwater aquarium with tropical colored fish that I can watch swimming at night before I go to bed. So I'm going to look at my layout. My door's here, so when I walk in, there's my bed. I think it would be really cool if I had a big, long aquarium on this side of my bedroom. So I'm going to go up here. Now I can go back here to my shape button, but just to let you know, I can also go up here to this little insert button. And here is where I also have text box, shapes, and things like that. So I'm going to go, whoops, I clicked text box. I want to do shape. So I'm going to go back to my shapes. I'm going to find a shape that I think would be a really cool aquarium. And I just want a really long aquarium that goes the whole side of my bedroom. Now, it colored it the same as my bed, which I don't want. I want a blue aquarium because I want it to have some pretty blue water in there. And I could even add some images of fish if I want. So I could go up here to insert and I could go to image and I'm going to go to search the web and I'm going to type fish. And I'm going to see, oh my goodness, look at all these tropical fish. So the way that I'm going to insert one of my fish is once I find one that I would like, I'm going to click on it. It's going to give me that little blue circle with a check mark, and I'm going to go to insert. And when it does that, it's probably going to be pretty big. So I'm going to make it much smaller by clicking and dragging that corner. And I'm going to then click in the center of my image to drag it up to put into my aquarium. And I can add lots of other little fishies. But of course, even though I see those fish, I'm still going to label it with my text box. I'm going to click that text box. I'm going to click and drag right here. And I'm going to write aquarium. Okay, so I'm going to make that a little bit longer and get my text box in there so I know that that's my aquarium. If I want, I can actually like rotate my text box and move it over a little bit so aquarium is actually written kind of up and down if I like that look. And I can kind of center it there. Remember, I can highlight it. I can change that font style. I can make it a little bit bigger or change the color if I need to. Maybe for this one, I want it to be white since it's on that blue background. Maybe that's a little bit easier to read. And now I know this is my aquarium and I can add some more fish to give it a few more details. So I've got my bed, I've got my nightstand, I've got this really cool fish aquarium tank. But I have no place to put my clothes. So I think I need to add another piece of furniture. I think I'm going to put a dresser up here. So I'm going to go back to my text spot, I'm going to go back to my shapes. I'm going to insert a rectangle here. I'm going to add a dresser. I can change the color of that dresser. And then I'm going to label it dresser so I know that's where all my clothes are going to be. I could even, give it, if maybe I want to actually show you where all the drawers are going to be in my dresser and add a few rectangles inside there if I want to do like that. So you guys are so creative, and I want you to be creative, and I want you to be artistic with this. I want you to think outside the box. I want you to really make your layout and your design. Just take your time with it and spend time with it and make it look great. So maybe I want to add a chair over here. I still have a little bit more room to play with. I don't want to block the door, so I want to make sure I'm mindful of that. I still have, if you notice, my bed is the biggest piece of furniture in that room. If I decide I want to add more furniture and I want to change that, I can make my bed smaller so I have more room for other things. But I personally would like a really big bed in my room. If you change your mind, if you insert an image or a shape that you decide you don't like, you can just click on it so it's highlighted with that blue box around it, and you can just hit delete on your keyboard and it goes away. Of course, if you're like, oh my goodness, I want it back, you have that undo arrow just like you do when we use Google Docs and Google Slides. So you can undo it and it'll bring it right back up, and you have your layout for your room. If you finish a layout of a room and you just think you are really proud of it and you would love to share it with us, you can go up here to this blue share button And if you click on share, this is where you'll enter the email address of who you would like to share it with. I would love for you to share it with me. So my email is lisa.card@knoxschools.org. And then, of course, you would hit enter. If it recognizes me, it's going to show that little person right here. And then you can hit send. I know Miss McCollum or Miss Clark would probably also love to see your designs that you've created. So you can enter in aaron.mccollum@knoxschools.org, or you can also share it with Miss Clark. So kristen.clark@knoxschools.org. Hit enter. You do not have to share it with us, but if you would like to, we would love to see it. Also, if you finish your layout, you finish your design, and you want to do a design for a new room, if you click up here where it says File and you go to New, you can do a new drawing. It's going to save your bedroom drawing for you, so I can go back up here to this tab and go back and forth between my bedroom. And now maybe let's say I want to do a sports room. I could click sports right here, and then I can do a layout for my sports room. So if you make a design that you would like to share with us, we would love to see it. Of course, you do not have to. If you do not have Google Drawings available, like you don't have a computer that you can use it, you can still do a really cool drawing on a paper and pencil. You can use colored pencils and crayons and do a really cool drawing that way on your paper. So Query Friends, I hope you have fun with this. I hope you enjoy making some design layouts for rooms for a house that you would build. I hope you enjoyed the story and the lesson for today, and we will see you all next Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend and are enjoying time with your family and at home. We'll see you soon.